Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. In today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with Dr. Gary Puckrein, the president of the National Minority Equality Forum, discussing the importance of cancer awareness during National Cancer Prevention Month. Enjoy today's program. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Friday headlines. The Associated Press says, estimated 73% of U.S. now immune to Omicron. Is that enough? The Omicron wave that assaulted the United States this winter also bolstered its defenses, leaving enough protection against the coronavirus that future spikes will likely require much less, if any, dramatic disruption to society. Millions of individual Americans' immune systems now recognize the virus and are primed to fight it off if they encounter Omicron or even another variant. About half of eligible Americans have received booster shots. There have been nearly 80 million confirmed infections overall, and many more infections have never been reported. One influential model uses those factors and others to estimate that 73% of Americans are, for now, immune to Omicron, the dominant variant, and that could rise to 80% by mid-March. This will prevent or shorten new illnesses in protected people and reduce the amount of virus circulating overall, likely tamping down new waves. Hospitals will get a break from overwhelmed ICUs, experts agree. The coronavirus, the current variant, or future ones that are sure to pop up, remains a dangerous germ. It is still infecting more than 130,000 Americans and killing more than 2,000 every day. Tens of millions of people remain vulnerable. And there will be future outbreaks, says the Associated Press. The notion of a herd immunity that could stop the virus has slipped away under the harsh reality of new variants, waning immunity, and the rejection of vaccines by some Americans. But the coronavirus is no longer new. 2 years ago, it arrived in a nation where nobody's immune system had seen it before. The entire population, 330 million people, were naive, that is, susceptible to infection. With varying degrees of relief and caution, many Americans are starting to return to their pre-pandemic lifestyles. As mask mandates ease, workers return to offices and flights fill up. Experts are trying to understand whether this return to normal can last or if another setback is looming. To address that, researchers are trying to answer questions about the virus, the vaccine, and how our bodies respond. How fast is booster protection waning against Omicron? How long does protection from infection last? How many mild infections were never reported? How many people got infected but had no symptoms? To find out, they use health data from other countries such as Britain, Denmark, South Africa, and Qatar to project what could be in store. In more national news, Biden says Russian threat to invade Ukraine still very high. Fears of a new war in Europe resurged on Thursday as U.S. President Joe Biden warned that Russia could invade Ukraine within days, and violence spiked in a long-running standoff in eastern Ukraine that some worried could provide the spark for wider conflict. World dignitaries raced for solutions, but suspicions between East and West only seemed to grow as NATO allies rejected Russia's assertions it was pulling back troops from exercises that had fueled fears of an attack. Russia is believed to have built up some 150,000 military forces around Ukraine's borders. Concerns escalated in the West over what exactly Russia is doing with those troops, including an estimated 60% of the overall Russian ground forces. The Kremlin insists it has no plans to invade, but it has long considered Ukraine part of its sphere of influence in NATO's eastward expansion, an existential threat. The U.S. government issued some of its starkest, most detailed warnings yet about what could happen next. Speaking at the UN Security Council, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken revealed some conclusions of U.S. intelligence in a strategy that the U.S. and Britain have hoped will expose and preempt any invasive action. It would open with cyber attacks along with missiles and bombs across Ukraine, he said. Painting the U.S. picture further, Blinken described the entry of Russian troops advancing on Kyiv, a city of nearly 3 million, and other key targets. In business news, Walmart steers through inflation, boosting profit and sales. Walmart muscled through rising inflation, a snared global supply chain, and surging costs related to COVID-19 sick leave among its workers to deliver strong fourth quarter results on Thursday. The nation's largest retailer, based in Bentonville, Arkansas, also delivered on Thursday an upbeat outlook for this year and boosted its dividends. Shares rose more than 2% in late morning trading on Thursday. Walmart is the first major retailer to report fourth quarter fiscal results, which includes a critical holiday shopping period and is considered a major barometer of spending given its size, so analysts carefully parse through the data. And finally, in more business news, bill averting federal shutdown clears initial Senate hurdle. Legislation averting a weekend government shutdown easily cleared an initial hurdle on Thursday as the Senate advanced a measure designed to give bipartisan bargainers more time to reach an overdue deal financing federal agencies into fall. With government spending authority expiring on Saturday, the bill cleared a procedural hurdle by bipartisan 65-30 vote, 5 more votes than the 60 votes needed. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Use your blessings to aid others. There are many ways to aid people who may be in need. One way is to share your material possessions. When you share your possessions, you come to the understanding that the true joy of ownership lies in using what you own to improve the lives of others. A possession that sits untouched or isn't enjoyed is of little value to anyone. Sharing what you own helps you to make the most of your material resources by bringing joy to others. You feel gratified that your possessions are being well used and appreciated. Sharing your possessions is only one of the many ways you can use your blessings to aid others. Bring joy to others through sharing your material possessions or one of your many other talented gifts from God, and share them with joy. And remember to enjoy your day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Gary Puckrein in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Dr. Gary Puckrein, the president of the National Minority Equality Forum, joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about some of the unique barriers when it comes to people of color in regard to cancer and why some minority populations seem to be at a greater risk of developing certain cancers. Here's a bit of our conversation.
And Dr. Puckrein, this is such an important topic, and I think it's one of the things we don't think about. There are so many different types of cancers out there, but as I mentioned, as the National Cancer Institute mentions, that at blacks and African Americans that we do compose a higher death rate in a lot of these. What are some of the unique barriers that people of color face when it comes to cancer?
So cancer variations are really caused by a number of factors. Certainly our biologies are slightly different, and so that means that our risk for cancer can vary. The environment in which we live and work can contribute to cancer. Our behavior can contribute. Do we smoke? Are we obese? Do we sleep well at night? Do we get regular care? All of those factors can contribute to variations in cancer.
So because of this, then, I think it does show the importance of us to be able to realize not only, of course, our own impacts, but also our surroundings. What evidence demonstrates, Dr. Puckrein, the extent of disparities when it comes to the outcomes for cancer patients?
I like to use survival rates. So what we see, in particular for African Americans, they get diagnosed late for cancer. And what do I mean by late? It means that the cancer has spread throughout the body. And when it spreads throughout the body like that, we don't have good science to bring you back to normal health. And what happens is your survival rates are much shorter. So what we need to do is move people from late-stage diagnosis of cancer to early-stage diagnosis of cancer. And when we do that kind of stage shifting, we can improve the quality of life and life expectancy for those individuals.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back to you guys on Monday with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.